Hello, friends. Hope you are doing great. In today's IELTS lesson, we are going to discuss about chronological order with examples. Chronological order organizes your writing around the sequence of time. You write about what happens first, then what happens second, what happens after that, and what finally happens. So, useful words for time. After, at time, at birth, in childhood, in infancy, as an adult, in adulthood, in old age, at last, at the turn of the century, decade, before, between, and during, earlier, every, numbers, years, months, days, finally, first, second, third, etc., former, later, in year. In conclusion, in the 20s, 1980s, in the first half of the century, in the first place, second place, later, next, then, subsequently, on day, previous, previously, prior to, simultaneously, at the same time, as since, to begin with, while. Now we move to the practice session. Combine the pairs of sentences using after, while, or before. There may be more than one way to combine these sentences. You may have to change pronouns and verb tenses. Number 1. The audience left the concert hall. The orchestra played at last note. Before the audience left the concert hall, the orchestra played the last note. Number 2. Look at the menu. Order your meal. After looking at the menu, you can order your meal. Number 3. The lights went out. We lit a candle. After the lights went out, we lit a candle. This one is used appropriately. Number 4. We were waiting for you in the coffee shop. You were waiting for us at the bookstore. While we were waiting for you in the coffee shop, you were waiting for us at the bookstore. Number 5. They filled the car with gas. The car ran out of gas. Before they filled up the car with gas, the car ran out of gas. So now we move to the comparison and contrast. You can define an object or describe a person by comparing or contrasting the object with something else. You can define a pear, comparing it with a peach, or contrasting it with a banana. This is a very useful way to organize your material. Comparison. Almost the same as, different from, in common with, differ from, correspond to, even so, in the same way, however, just as, in contrast to, like alike, in opposition to, resemblance, less than, resemble, more than, similar to, otherwise, similarly, slower than, etc., to be parallel to, still. Now, the next practice session. Read the questions, write con, C-O-N, if it is a question asking for contrast. Write comp, C-O-M-P, if it's a question asking for comparison. How is grade different from envy? Con. How does a mobile phone differ from a landline phone? Con. How are dogs and cats alike? Comp. In what ways are trains and planes different? Con. What are the similarities between a chair and a stool? Comp. C-O-M-P. Can you list 3 ways a restaurant and a cafeteria are alike? Comp. What are the difference between classical music and hip-hop? Con. How are Japan and Madagascar the same? Comp.